Have you ever laid awake at 2 in the morning, replaying something you can't change, trying to rewrite a conversation that's already over? Have you ever held on to something, a person, a plan, a version of your life, so tight that when it finally slipped through your fingers, it took a piece of you with it? Have you ever spent a whole day at war with something that already happened, raging at it like that might undo it? Well, if any of that sounds familiar, hear me. You're not broken. You're just fighting battles that were never yours to fight, holding ground that was never yours to hold. If you stick with me till the end, you're going to know exactly where that one piece of ground is that nobody, not your boss, not your past, not the thing that's eating you alive, can ever take from you, and exactly how to defend it. I'm not going to hand you a list. One move. That's the whole thing. Sit down. No, don't get comfortable. Just sit. I'm going to say this once, and I need you to actually hear it because nobody sat me down and said it to me. And I spent a lot of good years learning it the slow way, the expensive way. But there is a cheaper way. There was one piece of ground in this whole world that no one could take from you. Not your boss, not the people who left, not the ones who let you down, and not the thing that happened that you keep running back through your head at 2 in the morning. They can take the job. They can take the plan. They can take the people standing right next to you. I've watched that happen up close more than once. But there is one patch of ground right behind your eyes, and it's yours. And the only way you'll ever lose it is if you hand it over. Most men hand it over every single day with a smile. They give it away to people who aren't thinking about them at all, to outcomes they were never holding the strings on, to a past that is closed and locked and isn't taking visitors. And then they lie there in the dark, wondering why they feel overrun. I did exactly that for years. So I'm not sitting here pointing a finger at you. I'm pointing at a door, one I walked through far too late, and telling you it's right there, closer than you think. Now hear me on one thing before we go any further. This is not about your wounds. If you're carrying those, the real ones, the kind that jolt you awake at 3 in the morning, heart hammering, soak through, reaching for something that isn't there, there are good people for that. And going to them is not weakness. It's resupply. So go. This is something else. This is about your armor. And the time to forge a shield is never in the middle of a fight. It's now, in the quiet, on the gray, ordinary morning when nothing's on fire and nobody's watching. That is the only time it ever gets built. 20 centuries ago, the men who ran the hardest empire this world has ever seen carried a code into the field, right alongside the blade, a working philosophy for people who genuinely might not see tomorrow. Control what's yours. Let go of what isn't. Do your job. Meet whatever's coming on your feet. A Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius wrote it down to himself by lamplight on the edge of war. A man named Epictetus, born a slave, taught it to soldiers. It's not soft. It held the line for 3,000 years. And tonight, it gets handed to you. So, the first thing, and it's the foundation under everything else, so don't rush past it. Some things are up to you. Most things are not. That's it. That's the whole foundation. And if you walk away from here tonight and never remember another word out of my mouth, remember that one. And you'll already be standing ahead of nearly every man out there. And those words aren't mine. They belong to Epictetus. He was born a slave. He taught soldiers. and he died a free man. Picture the old Macedonian battle line, the phalanx. Thousands of men, shoulder to shoulder, each one of them holding a spear. And every single one of those men controlled exactly one thing: his place in the line, his own spear held level. That's it. He didn't control the enemy's charge. He didn't control the ground under his feet, or the weather, or how the day was going to end. And here's the part that'll save your life. The second one of those men reached for something that wasn't his to hold, turned to see how it was going down the line, or broke his stance to grab at the outcome, the line broke. Right there, at him. That's where it always breaks, at the man who reached. Now don't twist what I just said. There's a reach that breaks you, and there's a reach that holds you up, and you'd best learn to tell them apart. Reaching to grab an outcome that was never in your hands, to bend to what somebody else does, to climb back into a day that's already gone, that's the reach that snaps the line. But reaching out for help when the weight is crushing you, calling for resupply when you're running low, that is not you breaking your stance. That's you holding it. The asking is your action. It's your ground and your command. And reaching to make yourself better, to train, to learn, to grow into a harder man to put down, that's not reaching outside the line at all. That's you sharpening your spear. There's nothing on this earth more within your command than that. So when I tell you to stop reaching, hear me clear. I don't mean to stand there alone and grab at nothing. I mean quit reaching for what was never yours to hold. Most of what's rattling around in your skull right now is not your ground. It's enemy territory. What she decides, what he meant by that look, how this is all going to turn out, what people are saying when you're not in the room, that thing from 10 years ago. You're standing out there in the open, swinging at every bit of it, worn down to nothing, losing, and not one piece of it was ever yours to swing at. That's not me calling you a fool. We all do it. I did it longer than most. Your ground is smaller than you want it to be, and it is far, far stronger. Your judgment, your effort, what you choose to do next, that is the spear. That is your place in the line. Hold that, and you cannot be overrun. Pour yourself out onto the rest, and you'll lose both, the ground that wasn't yours and the ground that was. I wasted years out in that open field, trying to manage what people thought of me, trying to force outcomes that were never mine to force, refighting conversations in my head like I could climb back into yesterday and land the better line. All of it gone, spilled into the ground I didn't own and couldn't take. That's not an insult. That's just the bill that nobody warned you about. So consider yourself warned. That's the line. Hold it. Spend nothing on the rest. Holding that line is easy to talk about on a calm day. I can sit here and you can nod along and we can both feel good about it. But that's not when it counts. It counts on the day the world kicks your teeth in without an appointment. The phone call, the pink slip, the look on somebody's face, the day that comes for you out of a clear sky. So you're going to need somewhere to stand when that hits. You're going to need a fortress. The Byzantines fielded a soldier they called the cataphract. Picture him, man and horse both, head to foot, and iron and scale, a moving wall. The whole weight of the empire welded into one rider. He looked unbreakable, and he was hard to break. But the old philosophers knew something the armorers never figured out. The real stronghold was never the iron. It's the mind. There's a room inside you, and nobody else holds a key. The older ones called it the inner citadel. And here's the reason it can never be taken. The only door is on the inside. The world can take your comfort. It can take your circumstances. Give it enough time, and it'll take your body. That's the deal every one of us signed up for coming in. But it cannot get into that room and shove your judgment off its mark unless you walk over and open the door and wave it through. Marcus Aurelius wrote it down. Nowhere will you ever find a more peaceful retreat than your own soul. That's not a poem. That's a position. That is high ground. Most men, when the day ambushes them, they don't go to the citadel. They reach for the bottle, the screen. They pick a fight with whoever's standing closest. They go everywhere on earth except the one room that was actually theirs the whole time. I know that road. I've driven it in the dark with the lights off. So the next time something rattles you, and it will, probably this week, you've got somewhere to go now. Before you react, step inside. One breath into that one place that is yours and only yours. You have the power to choose what you do next. Get steady in there, then walk back out, and you meet it on your feet. The cataphract carried his fortress on his back. You carry yours behind your eyes. Same idea. Yours is the harder one to dent. Here's the next problem, and it's a quiet one. A fortress doesn't do you much good if you dragged everything you loved inside the walls and now you're up all night, sick, certain someone's going to take it. So the next thing I've got to teach you is how to hold loosely. Out on the steppe, there was a rider, the Scythian horse archer. He carried his entire life on the back of a horse. He called no patch of ground permanent. He owned nothing he couldn't ride away from at a gallop. And because of that, here is what was true of him. Nothing could be taken from him that he hadn't already, in his own heart, held lightly. You cannot rob a man who's already holding everything with an open hand. Now listen close, because this one gets twisted. Everything you've got, your health, the work you've built, the roles you wear, the people you would lie down in traffic for, none of it is owed to you. You didn't earn the right to keep it forever. It's all on loan, every bit of it. And Epictetus said it plainer than I ever could. When something gets taken from you, don't say I lost it. Say I gave it back. I know how that lands the first time. It sounds cold, but it is the exact opposite of cold. Gripping a thing with both white-knuckled fists doesn't make it stay. It just guarantees that when it goes, and one day it will go, that it tears your hands off on the way out. Holding it open is the only thing that lets you love it all the way down. Today, right now, while it's still here in front of you, without being destroyed when it changes, and it will change. Everything that's alive changes. I've held things too tight. I have. And I'll tell you exactly what that gripping bought me. Nothing. It didn't keep one single thing from leaving. All it did was make the leaving worse and steal the time I still had with it before it left. So tonight, hold what you love like something borrowed, something you've been lent, loved all the way down, but never owned. All right. Everything up to now, controlling your ground, standing in your citadel, holding the rest with an open hand, that's the floor, solid rock to stand on. Now I'm going to ask you for the hard thing, the one that took me longest of all, the ceiling. Whatever already happened to you, want it. Not accept it, not tolerate it through clenched teeth. Want it. The old Norsemen had a way of meeting the end that unsettled every enemy who ever faced them. They walked into it, sometimes gladly. They believed the day of a man's death and the manner of it were already woven into the thread long before he got there, and that the one thing, the only thing, a man truly got to choose was how he met it. So they met it standing, eyes open, and there was a fierce kind of freedom in that. Nothing left to fear once you've made your peace with the worst of it. Epictetus said it like a man handing down an order. Don't go wishing for things to happen the way you want. Wish for them to happen the way they do. Later on, that idea got a name. Amor fati, love of fate. Don't just bear what happens to you. Wish for it. Will it. Here's the code logic underneath it. and it is airtight. The thing already happened. It's real. It's done. Raging against something that's already real doesn't undo 1 second of it. All it does is open a second wound right on top of the first. Now you're bleeding from that thing that happened and from your own private war against the fact that it happened. 2 wounds, and one of them, you're the one holding the knife. So the loss, the mistake you can't take back, the diagnosis, that door that's shut in your face, the years you don't get to have again, I'm not going to insult you and call any of that good, but it is yours now. It's part of your story, whether you signed off on it or not. So pick it up and meet it the way you'd meet something you had chosen on purpose. Make it yours. That right there is the entire difference between the man this world breaks and the man it can't. I have made peace with hard things. Some of them I made peace with far too late, long after the raging had cost me more than the thing itself ever did. Don't pay that bill twice. Pay it once. Accept the cut. Then stop going to war with the fact of it. Now, when you take all 4 of those and lay them on top of each other, control what's yours. Stand in your citadel. Hold the rest loose and want what comes. You land in one single place. One. You finally stop fighting the way things actually are. There are warriors in the open plains who lived woven right into the whole of it, took from the land only what they needed, gave thanks for it, moved with the seasons instead of throwing their whole life against them. They understood something this loud, modern world has just about forgotten. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: the whole universe is one living thing, one body and one soul, and every one of us is a part of it. A part of the thing, not the center of it, not the point of it. And nearly all of your suffering, I mean it, nearly all of it, comes from forgetting that one fact, from straining against reality like it owes you a different shape, fighting the season you're standing in, fighting your own age, fighting a limit that is not going to move no matter how hard you shove it, fighting grief that's running on its own clock and doesn't care one bit about yours. You're pushing on a river, friend, and that river doesn't even feel it. To live according to nature is just this: stop straining against what's real and find your place inside of it. This is a current to things. You can spend your one and only life swimming straight into it, exhausted, getting nowhere, and calling that strength. Or you can read the water, turn, and pull with it, and find out you had 10 times the power you thought you had the whole time. You were just aiming it the wrong way. So stop fighting the river. Find the current and pull with it. You'll be amazed what comes loose the moment you quit shoving. Now look at what you've actually got in your hands, because I didn't hand you 5 tips tonight, 5 little tricks to tape on your bathroom mirror. I handed you one truth, and I turned it slow so you could see 5 faces of it. Control what's yours. Stand in the citadel none of them can storm. Hold everything else with an open hand. Want the fate that's already yours, and stop making war on the way things are. 5 faces, 1 move. And the move is this: stop bleeding yourself dry day after day after day on what was never yours to carry, and make your peace with what is. So here's the one thing I want from you tonight. 1, not a list. I'm not going to send you off with a stack of homework. Just 1 move. Name the thing that's eating you alive. The one that you keep circling at 2 in the morning. Say it out loud so it's real and not just noise in the dark. Then own it. Not because it's fair, because it isn't. Not because you chose it, because you didn't. Own it because it already happened. It's yours now, and going to war with the fact of it is a war that no man has ever won. Then, and not 1 second before, go find the single piece of it that's actually in your hands, the one action, the one response that's yours. And you do that one thing all the way to the wall. Everything else, The part that was never yours to carry, set it down. Don't tell yourself you lost it. Give it back. Name it, own it. Find your peace, lay the rest down. One move, and inside that one move is every word I said to you tonight. That is your ground, the last ground, the one behind your eyes, the one no enemy on this earth can take from you unless you walk over and hand it to him. Tonight, you know where it is, and you know how to stand on it. But here's the truth I'm not going to hide from you. Knowing where your ground is and being able to hold it under fire, those are two very different things. Ground you can't defend is just a place you're going to lose. And defending it takes work, the unglamorous kind, the kind nobody sees and nobody claps for. The reps in the dark on the gray morning when no part of you wants to, that's where we go next. Next week, I'm going to show you the work, the discipline no one is watching you do. How ordinary men, not heroes, not the gifted few, ordinary men forge themselves into something that does not break, one boring morning at a time. It is the least glamorous thing I will ever teach you. It is also the one that holds up everything else. If tonight landed somewhere in you, if you felt it, then come back. Meet me here next week. And the manual I'm teaching from, the whole field manual, all 30 days of it, I'll put it in your hands for free. The link's down below. I gave you one thing to carry out of here tonight. The manual's got the rest. One drill a day, 30 days. The work done in order. Don't just sit and listen to an old man talk. Run them. That's where it stops being words. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The line only holds if you keep showing up to it. Until then, hold the line because they are counting on you.